This is part 3 of seeking a spouse God's way, and I want to talk about the third principle of what you should do when seeking a spouse God's way. We spoke about the first principle, being don't be unequally yoked together with a non-believer. Make sure that you seek a spouse that is, number one, saved, and not only just saved or makes a profession of salvation, but actually they live it out. Well, we have a Christianity today that we're not really seeing it lived out. It's just a lot of professions, but not a lot of love for the Lord by their life and how they live and their obedience. And so you want to make sure that that person's on the same page, that you both love the Lord and you're going in the same direction. You have a teachable spirit, and you want to grow in Christ. You don't have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, but you sure want to be perfected and do that which is right before God. You both want to seek God's will and please Him with your life. And second principle is to go through the front door. In other words, if you're seeking a spouse that you're interested in and that you believe the Lord has stirred in your heart to seek to know her better, make sure you go and ask her authority, whoever her authority is. Predominantly it's her father at the time. Ask her father if you can get to know her a little bit better and why you want to get to know her and so forth. And that way it's a commitment made, and you get to know her on a biblical level. I believe it's a very biblical concept, as the father is the one that gives his daughter away in marriage. The third principle that I want to talk about this morning is make sure you do not defraud one another. So let's just say the father gives the green light, and you can go ahead and get to know his daughter, and the daughter's happy, she's happy, and all the rest of it. And when you get to know each other, make sure you're not putting yourself in a place of temptation where you're defrauding one another, when you're doing some things that are going to be tempting for you to do, certain things that are for marriage. And so this is including kissing. You got to make sure that you don't get too attracted to that person way before the time, and get touchy and feely, and one thing can lead to another. And a good principle to always remember is go out publicly, or go visit in the home, or if the father allows you to take her out somewhere, go in a public setting where there are other people there. That way you're less tempted to do things that are dishonorable to the Lord and before that person. But I also want to take it to another level, even in your communication. You've given some time to get to know that person, perhaps on a phone call. Be careful what you talk about. Make sure your communication is pure and wholesome, and you're not actually saying things that you ought not to, especially things that are sexually based, with sexual connotations. And I'll even go as far as be careful with using words of endearment before the time, like I love you and miss you, can't wait to be with you. Perhaps that's has to be left to when you propose to her, and you take that next step, and so forth. And so don't arouse passions in your life that you cannot meet before the time. So these are just quick basic principles. I'm sure there's a lot more to be said on the subject, but these are just foundational principles. If you can remember, it will help you to seek a relationship God's way, pleasing God in all that you do, and you're not defrauding one another, especially if things don't work out. If things don't work out, you can part way knowing that you did things in a very God-honoring way, and you can still be brothers and sisters in the Lord. Well, God bless you, and see you next time.